Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show. Hi, everybody. Hello, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we're happy to be here.
I know. I'm excited.
Me too. We're back
You're
on
looking
screen.
good.
We kind of missed our screen time yesterday. No, last time.
Last week messed that up. That's
Yep.
okay.
That's okay.
We're back.
Yeah, we're here. We're here with you in the flesh.
In the flesh or over
Yeah.
the mics. So per use, you can listen to us anywhere. Go ahead and give us the shout out.
Yeah.
Like, rate, review, 5
Yes,
stars.
please. Yes.
Send it, share it, subscribe.
Especially if you're on Apple. I mean, you know, I can't stand going on other podcasts where they beg for this, but we're going to beg too, because the 5 stars means a whole lot in just listenership and the way we grow this podcast. So if you could give us 5 stars, awesome.
And then subscribe and then share it.
And subscribe and share.
Great.
3 things, but mostly just listen and let's
Hope
have
you
some
enjoy.
fun. Yeah.
You can also, I want y'all to send us in your questions, your anonymous, your
Yes.
suggestions. So in the show notes, you'll see Speak Pipe and you just click it. It's like leaving us a voicemail.
Right.
So feel free to leave us a voicemail and
Or
we'll
DM
answer
on
that
Instagram or
on the
anyway.
next podcast.
Yeah. Please.
Yes. And then if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching and
Absolutely.
subscribing there. So that's the housekeeping. Bye. We're going to talk about some really fun stuff today. One
And
of our
some
favorite
basics.
things to deep dive and go basic on that we haven't talked about in a long time. And we're going to devote this entire episode to health as it relates to food.
Food. Exactly.
Food, which
Food.
you like to call.
Medicine.
And if you don't use it as medicine, you're using your food as
Poison. Or you could use the 2 words, is it anti-inflammatory or is it causing inflammation in your body? It's doing one of 2 things. Because it's not just about, oh, I need to lose the weight. It's, oh, I can't lift my arm up. I've got, my joints are tight. My joints are hurting. I've got aches and pains. Inflammation in our foods can add and lead to all of that. Basically, what we put in our mouth and goes into our gut is going to affect everything from our mood to our health in every possible way. So,
right. I mean, I think we start with the overall and then let's really break it down. I think we know that our entire body works together. So our brain function, our gut function, our muscular function, our respiratory, all of our systems in our body, nervous system, are all related. And everything we do with and to our bodies, everything we put in and around and on our bodies, every single one of those things affects us. Now, with that being said, it's always easier to approach something simply, one step at a time. But the big takeaway also is that knowledge is power.
right.
So you want to start with those overall. Am I moving my body? Am I treating it well with the things I say to it? Do I sleep well?
Right.
What am I feeding myself? And so today we want to really go into what are we putting in our bodies to make it function to the best of our ability for as long as it can. So where do you want to start?
Well, we can start with the amount of water you consume.
Ooh, that's my favorite topic.
That is your favorite topic,
because you don't drink enough.
Well, I do now. And it took a lot of, there's so much research right now that is just available to everyone. We need to drink half our body weight a day. You've told me this forever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, get enough. But when you're saying, oh, what is it? Because we're aging does not matter. In aging, you can age when you're my age or older, you can be in just the same shape as a 20 or 30-year-old if you're putting the proper ingredient and nutrition things in your body. And maybe you just make one change today, and that is just to drink
more water,
half of your body weight. Now that's a lot, and just water. So the body and the, we need that to flesh out all these wonderful systems we have. But I want to just say one little quick thing, because you were saying about sleep, because that has always been my issue.
Yeah.
If you aren't getting great sleep, as in, I'm happy if I get 7, but 7 to 8 hours is, I believe, what most people say. But don't stress over it, because I stress over it and then I'll get 6, if I'm lucky. Then the other parts of your body are going to suffer. Especially, you're going to be hungrier the next day.
That's right.
You're going to maybe be more injury prone. Inflammation is going to increase in your body. Cortisol is going to increase in your body. So, but we're going to give you tips on things to eat also that help with your sleep, with just your overall
to make all
performance.
those functions work better. So let's talk about the water, and the hydration really is what we're going for. So we start with half your body weight in ounces a day. So you're, 120 pounds, you're going to drink 60 ounces of water. Very simple formula. This is very easy. So if you look at those, 60 ounces, 38, whatever all your Stanley cups are.
Your water bottles, your giant water bottles.
Yeah, you're going to fill that at least twice a day. I also say, if you're working out, if you're exerting, if you're sweating, you need to amp that up even more, and you will be more thirsty. And so I think this happens.
You'll also be hungrier.
That's right. And so I think that goes hand in hand. We're not just, our body's 70% made up of water. I hope I've said that accurately, but a lot. And so not only does it just fuel your body, lubricate your body, make yourself glow from the inside out, it is that satiation. That if you're tired and hungry all the time, well, before we reach for the snack, let's have another 10 ounces of water, 8 ounces, and see how we feel before you go straight for the food. So I think we're always starting out behind. So if we can take that one habit ahead, let's talk about other things that we drink throughout the day that are either hydrating or dehydrating.
Right.
So you're a coffee, tea, hot girl. I'm not.
Yeah. Every morning, I think it's important, and some people aren't. You don't do it. To put a hot beverage to sort of, you've been fasting all night long. You haven't eaten since at some point during your last evening. And I start with a warm cup of lemon water. I literally squeeze lemon in it. Well, that's very alkaline for the system, which takes the acidic, the things that make more inflammation, and it neutralizes it. So that's the very first thing I put in my body. You, on the other hand, drink a glass of water.
That's right. And I think let's note this right off the bat, that what works for you might not work for me. That goes for everyone, because we are different bodies made of different ways, of different genetic codes, of different makeup. And what each of us need is different. So it will take a little bit of trial and error. And I think we live in an age where everybody is being influenced to do XYZ, to follow XYZ, to follow this diet, do this intermittent fasting. And I'm not going to prescribe to that. I just don't think what works for one person always works for the other, but we know there are some basic truths about health and wellness. So I just wanted to kind of blanket statement that.
You brought up the bad word.
What's that?
Diet.
Exactly.
If you've had a successful diet, then I want you to admit you're lying. Diets don't work, period. Lifestyle changes work. Completely true. And so what we want to talk about here is the changes in lifestyle and habit that can lead you to not craving foods that are, I'm going to use the words medicine or poison again instead of inflammation or anti-inflammatory. So if you're going to crave the poison, the sugar, the cookies, the whatever it is, the processed food that's in the box, you can keep that from happening so much if you set yourself up with this success. So the very first thing in the morning that I put in my body is you put water. Everybody needs to hydrate in the morning, because the minute you ingest, and I'm getting back into my matcha tea habit. I want to tell you about matcha tea in a minute. I'm going to stop with that for a second and go to, I have a cup of matcha tea, and then I have coffee because I like it. Both are equally great with a million antioxidants. The matcha particularly has the things in it besides the antioxidants. I mean, things that do everything from like tightening your skin to, all the it's just chock full. It's a superfood. It's a superfood. Now, what is the other thing those two have in common? Is caffeine, which dehydrates the body.
Diuretic.
It's a diuretic, and it dehydrates the body. So for whatever I'm drinking in the morning for that, after I've had my coffee and my matcha tea, I'm going to, for then on out, go to Hilliard City Method, do my workout, and I'm pumping water the rest of the day.
The rest of the day.
Yeah, rest of the day.
Right.
Hardcore. And some people can actually drink coffee or matcha tea or green tea. The green teas are the best, I believe, because of the power they have with the antioxidants and the qualities that they bring to your body. There's too many to go in. We're not going deep today. We're staying basic. Go with your green teas or your black teas, but green teas are better. Go with your coffee if you love it.
And don't put anything in it.
Oh, right.
There's some things, but generally speaking, we're talking regular water, we're talking warm water, matcha tea, green teas, any teas, and plain black coffee.
Correct.
Now, why don't you put anything in it? If you put anything in it, what can you put in it?
Okay. One little quick thing about the coffee. A lot of us like dark roast. The medium roast are actually the better antioxidant. If you like dark roast, you're still getting some. Just wanted y'all to know that.
Good point.
There's a lot of good research behind mushrooms right now. And we sell at Hilliard City Method a thing called passion powder, which Green Brothers Juice makes for us. And we call it passion powder because it's a fun thing, it really actually helps with the balancing of the hormones as well. But really, basically, it's mushrooms. It's ground up mushrooms. And so I put a little passion powder in my coffee every morning, as well as the cinnamon we just found. Now you say the word. I can spell it. I can't say it.
I believe it's Ceylon. So Ceylon. Cinnamon is like a more intense, not necessarily in flavor, but just a better concentration of the good elements of cinnamon.
Actually has the qualities that real cinnamon is known for, which is going to do everything from help with your blood pressure to just sort of your equilibrium, just leveling out all your things. So
right.
I put a little bit of that because when you're going to have something, why not get, just like my workout, more bang for your buck?
Yeah.
So I put those two things in it. So I know I've got that beginning.
That's right. And so you've enhanced the flavor because you want that to be enjoyable, but you've left out creams and sugars and fatty things that aren't going to enhance the product.
Correct. And exactly. And that we're going basic today. If you do one thing besides just drink water more every day.
I feel like we're going to be asking them to do a lot of things. So.
Well, okay, but just
pick one.
Drop the cream. Okay. Or drop the sugar or the cream. Everybody loves Starbucks. Get the plain coffee. By the way, Starbucks makes great plain coffee. I go in there and they're like, "You want what?" I'm like, "I want a cup of coffee, plain." And they're like, "Well, all right, let's go with the plain coffee over here."
Right.
All those other things are, I think, inflammatory or poison. I'm going to use those words because you put cream in there, you put sugar. It's mostly the sugar, the flavors, some of the artificial flavors, especially I've literally never had them and so therefore I can't name them, but I know they have like a pumpkin spice or something in the fall.
I don't know. There's lattes, there's a lot of frappuccinos and all sorts of stuff. I don't drink coffee. I don't know.
So just not to bear down hard on Starbucks. They're great. Just drink their coffee.
We all know how important it is to fuel yourself just right every morning. Liz, what's your jet fuel?
It's the HSM smoothie, of course.
Obviously.
But also, I've got a new little thing.
You've got a new friend? From Sakara Life, the Metabolism Super Powder is your go-to. It fires up your metabolism, curbs sugar cravings, helps ease bloat, and is it delicious?
Oh, it's so good, especially in your coffee. It's got a great taste.
Dump it in the coffee, blend it up, and go.
Dump it in the coffee, blend it, and be excited because you're going to love
it. Y'all go to sakaralife.com. When you check out, you'll receive 20% off your order, which is a great deal by using the code XOLizHSM. That's XOLIZHSM for 20% off your order at sakaralife.com. Well, and I think there's a moral of this story is like we're doing these things because it's like a treat or a feel good or we deserve. Yeah. Like we're working hard. We've got a lot to balance on our plates. And so, okay, a trip to Starbucks or a cube of sugar in my coffee. Great. Now look at the whole picture. Is that the one place where you're kind of giving yourself that joie de vivre moment? Or are you struggling with how your body feels, what your weight feels like, how your body feels, your energy level? Then this is where you pull back.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
We want to continue to do that overarching,
Mm-hmm.
not talk about diet and deprivation and
Right.
restriction. We're talking about joy, but it's where you're rewarding
Right.
yourself, when you're rewarding yourself, and how much. So if it's the one treat of the week or whatever, I
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Well,
But a consistent habit on that
Yeah.
isn't great.
Your point is good. We're not trying to shame you into
That's right.
being good, but we're also, that's not a reward. It's not a reward if it adds to your discomfort. I mean, that's sort of like, I'm just going to do a hit of marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I did well today.
No, yeah. I mean, find a way. And truthfully, I'm a good example of that because when I was young, oh, wow, the amount of sugar and cream I put into my coffee,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know I didn't like coffee.
You did.
I didn't know what it tasted like.
Yeah.
And so once I pulled that away, I was like, oh, this stuff is bitter.
Right.
And I didn't drink it for a while. And then I learned to really like the taste of coffee. There's very good health benefits in coffee. So, and the same as in just like even an iced tea. If you're just an iced tea human,
Sure.
it's a plain tea. Just drink it. Learn to like the taste of
the real food. Yep. The real
instead
product.
of the additives. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Good. So we've got our day started. We're not going to delve into alcohol. I want to keep this really simple. We all know that that's not the best thing you can put in your body. Let's just go to any other drinks. I mean, for me, it's just water.
Yes.
Kombucha.
I love kombucha.
And carbonated water and no juices.
Well, the thing about juices is this way.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We got together this weekend at the studio for a nutritional talk. And one of the girls was really funny. She goes, well, if we do this again, let's have mimosas. And I'm like, if we do this again and we choose to have alcohol, we'll have the champagne without the orange juice.
Right.
Why? Because if you eat an orange, it takes you maybe 4 to 5 minutes to eat it and peel it and eat it. And you get all those good nutrients and goodnesses of the juices and the antioxidants and the vitamins and minerals in an orange. But when you drink a cup of orange juice, you're getting about 8 oranges. So, and most of the juices that are made in the grocery store are filled with sugar.
And lack fiber.
Exactly.
So you lose the fiber aspect when you turn into a juice. So, we carry Green Brothers juices and smoothies in the studio as a way to put one more serving of fruit and vegetables in your hand. Right? If you can get a clean, sugar-free pressed juice, then that's good. But know that when you press a juice,
don't down it.
You are drinking your sugar and not getting the fiber. So you want to know that for your day, that if you eat a whole fruit, you're going to have more benefits, but there's nothing wrong with ingesting sugar-free fruits. I mean, fruit has natural sugar, right?
But the fructose,
not the add-on.
The fructose in the fruit is a natural occurring sweetener in nature. It has nothing to do with refined sugar. Now, there's certain people, diabetics and things that really, really have to be paying attention to that. And that's between you and your doctor and do all those things. But if you are a normally healthy person, you can ingest a fruit juice, but you want to not drink it down because knowing that's 8 oranges. And even if there's no sugar in it, or even if it's a pomegranate juice, sip it. Just sip these juices. They're great for you. One of the good ones for you with a bazillion antioxidants is watermelon. But I'd much rather eat watermelon straight up than sip the juice.
Just sip the juice, right? Right. Okay, so the opt for the whole fruit. I mean, you and I don't drink any sodas or other beverages, and I remember there's some addictions out there.
I remember though, even when I started Hilliard Studio Method, I was addicted to sugar, to Diet Coke. I really liked them.
Brooke Hall.
And I was like, that's okay. There's no calories in this. But I've honestly believe I would rather have a real Coke and deal with the poisonous sugar than deal with the poisonous ingredients and chemicals that are in a diet drink. If you're having a hard time coming off of a diet drink, I would suggest a kombucha. I mean, find a good one. There's some yucky ones, but there's also some really good ones. And we love, I'm not gonna call out any labels here, but find one that you like because that's going to be a lot of good.
Well, there's fermentation
bacteria, good bacteria for gut.
For your gut.
Yeah. And it gives you a sense of, I'm having something like a drink, or you can just do like fizzy water.
Uh-huh.
Period.
Well, and I'm sure it's that tricky place to go get off the sodas. I mean, who are we to tell you? And I know that I've heard people talk about research of the negligible amount over time. Like, is it really that much in your system? And I get it. But I think it's looking at like your habits, and if you have an addiction where like every day you have to have X amounts of Diet Cokes to survive, it's kind of like, well, why?
Right.
You know, like, are you enjoying
It's
that?
also the caffeine.
Is that fueling you?
There's a pump up of the caffeine and just sort of that taste, that tingly taste. And I get it, because if I don't eat foods that don't taste good. All right. You know, remember, we love the joy. We're all about the joy. So we are always looking for things that are satisfying and good. But again, weigh it out. Is this going to add to my health, or is this going to take away from my health? Is this inflammatory or anti-inflammatory? Diet Cokes are inflammatory. A sparkling water by anybody, I suppose, with some fruit in it or lemon and lime is really good for your system, and it's adding to your health. So is it taking away from my health, or is it adding?
I think it's looking too at, let's say I have a sweet tooth problem and want to lose 5 to 10 pounds. And it's knowing like that fake artificial sweetener or the real sugar sweetener, it's going to make you want it more and more and more.
Right.
So if you're having trouble coming off of sugar, or you're trying to lose weight or change your habits, it's that knowledge of, well, it's diet. It's fine. It's like, well, they're putting something else in there to trick you to want to have it all the time. So I think this goes back to knowing what's in your food, what's in your beverages.
That's real brain science too. This is not our idea or our opinion. The brain science behind diet drinks is it tricks your brain and it makes you eat more. The science also, and the research on it, is people that drink diet drinks tend to to gain more weight than people who do not drink diet drinks. It's literally tricking your brain into thinking, well, that wasn't as satisfying. I need more. You know, I need more of something else. I need more sugar. You didn't get the sugar. So you're like, that was kind of mean, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get that sugar.
Well, I mean, and I always think back, like, 100 years ago, these products weren't available. I mean, we're just feeding big businesses. We've been able to survive without all these products that have, fake ingredients, processed ingredients in it. And everybody's trying to, be successful in their business. But if the more we feed into that, the more we're going to get it.
Right. And just, that was the best point you've made in this podcast, because the history, look at what we've been having for the last thousands of years. We've been having teas. We've been having coffees. Yeah. I mean, we've been having whole foods, things from the earth. People have been eating meat. I mean, our bodies have evolved from these sorts of foods that we're putting in our bodies. And all of a sudden, with these processed, poisonous food.
Sure.
Sorry, y'all. It really is. We know it.
We know.
It's inflammatory, okay? It's inflammatory food.
Yeah.
That is adding to the obesity problem. 60% of America is obese. And so we weren't like that before. And it's not because, it's because of what we're eating. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So let's get off the drinks and move into food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big one. And your food and, you can use the word diet actually clinically.
Sure.
When we take out the fads and a name of a type of diet, your diet is what you
consume
eat
every day.
in a day. There are diets in italics that are
what we eat,
ways to happen.
We'll use that word today. So
okay.
The first thing you want to put in your body, besides these warm drinks, or in your case, a cup of water,
is the HSM smoothie,
or some form of protein with fats, if you can handle them, if you can find them.
Okay.
I mean,
so what kind of fat? So I think we're going to get into the dangle the carrot. This is about protein.
Yes.
This is about getting enough protein in the day.
Yes.
And I want to know what types of protein to eat and what types of fat you want me to put with that protein.
Well,
please teach me.
Because I've been doing the smoothie forever. And if you don't, and I found out that one of my dearest friends' clients today went, what's in this smoothie? She's literally become in the studio since I opened the doors. And I thought, well, it's time to revisit that. Now, I'm not going to say do the Hilliard Student Method smoothie, but what I am going to say, do ingredients that have these properties in them, which is why I made up the smoothie. Number one, it's got 20, at the end of the day, 27 grams of protein. If I'm not 120, I'm over that. But say I was 120, I'm good. I'm getting a good hit on my protein. I'm just.
What did you didn't clarify that? You threw in 120 and no one knows what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. We're trying to get
1 gram of protein per 1 pound of fat.
Yes, exactly.
Or 1 pound
of body weight.
So you said 120. So if you're 120 pounds, your ultimate dream goal of grams of protein is 120.
Exactly. Okay. So you're starting your day out first thing in the morning with 27 grams. Now, what's in the smoothie? We use a pea protein, which is organic. I would say to stay away from a lot of the beef and animal proteins. Sometimes they'll have the hormones and all those things in them. So we have really resourced ours out. And that's only because it's fast and we know it's, we can get it done. So you've got your protein in it. You've got
a
fiber.
Unsweetened protein.
Fiber is key. Fiber is key in maintaining your weight and losing your weight.
How can I get fiber in a smoothie?
Fiber in a smoothie comes in many ways. I use chia seeds. We use chia seeds. There's a lot of great qualities. There's also the hydration quality. I mean, there's just this is a good seed for
omega-3s.
Omega-3s. And thank you. I couldn't come up with anything all of a sudden.
Okay, so we've got the protein powder and the fiber and the chia. Fiber also in fruit and any greens you add.
Yeah.
Next.
Fruit, meaning organic fruit, right? So get the frozen fruit in a smoothie. I would go frozen. Gosh, if you can get fresh though, just add a whole bunch of ice and you're good to go. But I always have organic fruit. And then,
by fruit, the best
berries.
with the most antioxidants and lowest kind of sugar is berries.
Berries.
Black,
any
straw,
berries.
blue.
Blues are your go-to. If and I've had to, I've always, who doesn't like a blueberry? But I mean, I had to really learn to like some things that I now love. And then you want to add the fat. I have on the recipe at the studio, 1/4 of a avocado.
Right.
I actually now use a half of an avocado.
Generally go half.
I like it because it's more filling. I'm not looking at now it's going to add a few more calories and it's also a few more good fat. But our bodies are made up of fat and we need to feed it with this fat to satiate it and to also keep that fuel burning. So I add the avocado and then I add
your greens,
our phytonutrients. And then phytonutrients are just greens all made into a powder that are real, that are organic. And we use Katie's greens.
Yeah. So what we use is a powder that has 7 servings of greens, vitamins, minerals. You're going to have to use a boatload of spinach, kale, or whatever green, and you certainly
get the same thing.
Can, but you got to put a lot
Go for
in.
It. You don't have the Katie's greens, use a boatload of whatever greens you want to throw in there.
Okay.
And then we use the vitamin C powder. It's again a real food, powdered out. Matter of fact, if you buy it from us, you have to put it in your refrigerator once you use it. It's real foods. And then we finish it off with some touches. Maybe it's that good cinnamon. Maybe it's the
cinnamon,
passion
ginger,
powder with the mushrooms,
lime.
I use real turmeric. Turmeric is just God's gift to health, literally. And we use the turmeric root that you just chop it. I'll get the fattest piece of a knuckle and put it in there, as well as a ginger root, which kind of gives it a cool taste too. It gives it a little bite.
Do you remember that one time I put garlic in it?
God, yeah.
I was just like, oh,
even though that would be good for you, nobody
it's good for you. It tastes horrible.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And then you just mix it all up. Now, what if you only have a few of those ingredients? Go for it anyway. Get your most important thing is to put your protein. I don't have protein. I don't have that smoothie thing in my house. What are you going to do? Eggs. But eggs only have about 7 grams.
Wait. Let's go back. Let's finish the smoothie.
Sorry.
You went crazy. You need a base in your smoothie of liquid.
Oh, yeah.
To be the cleanest, we just use unfiltered
water.
Tap water. Or filtered tap water.
Yeah. We used to use coconut water, which is great.
Electrolytes.
It's really good for you. But I don't always have it. So and plus, again, it's a little sweeter. And my taste buds have changed by drinking these things and filling my body with all this. And I don't require or need that.
Right. Okay. So there's kind of your general smoothie ingredient, full of fiber, protein, healthy fats, omega-3s, all the good vitamins and minerals. It is a meal replacement. It is your breakfast or your lunch or whatever. So know that when you power pack that you're having a meal, because some people talk about how they like to chew their food. I'm like,
and so what are you going to,
I mean, drink. It's thick and creamy. Just enjoy the flavor.
Well, no, if they want to chew their food, there's options. Let's go with some eggs.
Now we're to the eggs.
They're expensive as hell, but
That's true.
They really are right now. But this morning I did that. This morning I just boiled. I have them in the refrigerator. I boiled a whole bunch of them because I was kind of in a hurry. I did my Sakara powder this morning. My I can't say
metabolism powder.
Metabolism power, which is really good. It's really good, and it tastes good. It's got a little cacao in it, which is so good for you. No sugar, none of that good. It's always good. And I was in a hurry, so I popped a couple of boiled eggs, which I realize is only 14 grams of protein. I got a little bit of protein in my Sakara powder, and I had an apple because apples are great fiber. They taste great, and they're great for you.
And what do they say?
An apple a day, literally.
But truly, and you truly have an apple a day.
Again, people go, you're 69 years old. Why don't you have flabby skin? Why don't you have all the things? Well, yeah, of course I do Botox, but you know what else? I also do the nutrients in my body that causes less wrinkling of skin, that hydrates and fills my body up. And then, of course, I'll work it out. But so these are things that you can put in your body. Some people in Europe, they have salads for breakfast and they put a protein on them. It's just whatever culture you're in.
Right.
You want to get your greens, your protein. And when we're together in the morning, sometimes you'll go, I just want this. And I'm going, you're going to have a piece of avocado with celery, or she'll do like greens. That's not me in the morning.
Right.
But that's also good stuff because it's healthy.
Well, I just think what your body, you have to listen to what your body wants and needs. If it's nutritious food, why does it have to be eaten at breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Right. Like if that's something you love and it's covering protein, vegetables, good fats, like go for it.
But I also say, and I know there's this whole thing about what is it called, where people don't eat for
intermittent fasting,
8,000 hours. That's great. Have a great time at it. Just know this. Your body's going to get used to that. Your body's job in life is to keep you breathing and alive. And if it goes, we're doing that thing where we don't eat again for 12 to 15. I don't know how long these people do the fasting part. Oh, it's going to slow your metabolism down. Oh, we're just going to hold this fat right here. We're not going to burn it. Now, it does work if you just do it now and then. But if you go, I'm never going to have breakfast again. I'm just going to fast until lunch. Your body's going to go, got it. Your body is all about survival.
Right.
It does not care what you weigh. It doesn't care about any of that other stuff. It wants you to survive. And so it is going to go back into the lowest common denominator of lower that metabolism and let's just not burn anything because there's nothing coming in for fuel.
That's right. And so I think that overall on intermittent fasting is, one, we're not experts on it. Two, we do know that that's probably not the best thing to do all the time, to get with somebody who can really help you understand how long to go and for how often. I don't think so.
Care.
I mean,
yeah.
I just think it's easy, like I said, to see something on Instagram and be like, whoa, intermittent fasting, and just do it on your own over and over again.
Yeah.
I think you do need to research and find the knowledge and find out what works for your body, with your main point being you need to find ways to power and kick up your metabolism, and never eating breakfast all the time, for example, is not necessarily going to be good for your body.
Right. And literally, I felt like I didn't eat breakfast today because all I had was my Sakara powder from my metabolism. And then I had a couple of eggs and I was out the door going,
and an apple. And
I'm
so
hungry.
That's so funny. People are thinking, wow,
like, where's my smoothie? I need more. And so,
and that's, I think, the point, to look at you and go, you're consuming a lot of food, but what kind of food? And it's obviously fueling you because you work out.
Yeah. It's the guide. And that's what we're trying to do today, is the guidelines of eating well to fuel your body. So the rest of the things that we're going to go with, whatever you eat for breakfast, make sure you're eating healthy protein, lean protein. If you want to cook a steak for breakfast, that is your business. Get the lean grass-fed beef though. If you have that steak for nighttime, anytime during the day, just try real hard. And I know this is an unfair thing to say because some people can't afford grass-fed beef, which is super expensive. But the more you can have if you're going to eat your beef or your chicken or whatever you have, find out where those chickens and the cows are coming from, and make sure they are organic. And as far as beef goes, I'm just now reintroducing a lot more beef into my diet.
I know you've just said
because I've done a lot of research
18 times in a row,
and it's so our bodies are designed for it. So if you're vegetarian, it's very, very difficult to get the right nutrients from protein out of vegetables into your body. I know a lot of people that do, but I've also seen more people that have really suffered from not getting it's not just the protein, it's a lot of the
amino acids.
It's just really hard. And so that's why one reason we have the B12 in the studio once a month, because your body in our environment that we live in and the groceries we buy in a grocery store don't really give us the amount of B12, which is necessary.
Right. And I think let's talk about whenever I think about beef, because I did make some last week and you went bonkers on it and then you said you didn't feel good. I'm like, how much are you eating? So I think portion size is really, really important.
Yes.
And no matter what you're eating, I think portion size is important.
Yes.
And again, that just goes back to knowledge, taking a look at the label, how many serving sizes is a serving, how many servings are you getting, how much are you like packing all of this together or spacing it out. So I think there's an element of spacing it out in a day so your system can kind of handle it better than gorging on a 32-ounce ribeye to get your protein in for the day.
Yeah. Sarah Stevenson, thank God we have Sarah as one of our trainers. She's also a nutritionist. And so she gave a little talk this weekend and she said, just eat whatever is a fist size.
No, the palm
of your hand for your beef. Well, when you made the steak the other night, I was like, I ate the whole thing.
I know. I took it away. And it's like, I'm going to be saving this for later.
And I literally felt hungover from that amount of beef the next day. I was like, wow, that was a lot.
Right. And, there's lots of different elements of this. So, if you need to get on YouTube and attack us for killing the environment about meat, it's not like that. We're not going one way or the other. I don't believe that meat, is great. Whatever. The system of
big
our
business
and how it can be bad for the environment.
It's terrible for the environment.
Right. So I think there's a balance of a couple times a week. If you're eating meat every night, can you take out one? So I just kind of want to throw that.
Yeah.
Throw that in there.
But get your protein. And there's
other sources.
Fish. Well, even though fish aren't a great source.
Not a great source of protein, but some good other things.
Really
yogurt. That's what Sarah was talking about.
Greek yogurt. And I'm going to give a shout out to Sarah again, Sarah Stevenson. If you're interested in talking with her, you can get in touch with her through us. So, and we'll give the show notes some information there. But the Greek yogurt is going to be higher in protein. What she suggested this weekend was she does Greek yogurt at lunch or maybe that 3:00 in the afternoon dip in your energy.
We've all got
add some collagen to it and fruit. You're getting I don't know the amount. I think you would probably be getting 25 to 27 or so grams of protein. I don't know that for sure, but it's more than if you were eating lentils, say, which are good, great sources of fiber and good carbohydrates and some protein.
Yeah, you're getting about 17 grams in your yogurt and whatever it is. So you just threw out the word collagen. Again, it's knowledge is power. What the hell is collagen? So we also carry a protein powder, and you can find it anywhere, that is a scoop of another protein source that obviously, by the name of it, is good for your skin, your nails, and your gut and your protein.
Exactly.
So that's a really good snack that I really needed to hear that because, that's when I
at your
kind of had those dips of, let me just grab some vegetables and hummus. Well, I mean, that's not a whole lot of protein. Hummus has few more carbs. Like, it's a great way to get extra vegetables.
It's
but
better
talking
than
about
pimento cheese
or crackers, of course. But I'm just saying, even more. Like, for me, I needed another, another good option, and that reminded me to get the yogurt back in the system.
Yeah, good idea. So just find something protein wise, and just remember this. Why do we keep saying that? The more protein you put in your body, the more you're going to be filled up and be less, your glycemic index, your blood sugar is going to level out more. So you're not craving something that's bad for you, something that's out of a box or something that's sweet. Plus, we're talking about diet today, but you have to keep knowing you've got to move your body. And in order to build and maintain muscle, you've got to have the right amino acids, the proteins to continue to not get big and bulky like those muscle builders, but to just maintain and be normal and healthy, and skeletal muscle is going to keep you alive. I mean,
and you've said this forever, but what happens is when you build muscle, it's going to burn fat.
Right.
So what you're doing is you're shedding that outer layer of fat.
Or the carbohydrates, whatever you've got in your, I'm not going to dissuade you from eating good carbohydrates either. That's your fuel. I mean, you can burn some carbohydrates into some fat.
You need to.
And so, but you want that. I did an interview with Well and Good recently, and she kept going back to, but what do you mean build the muscle? And I'm like, the skeletal muscle, the muscles that are around your skeleton, the bone growth.
What other muscles are there?
Well, I know, but I mean,
I'm like, what? I don't understand what you're saying.
But the point being is the muscles that keep you healthy and walking erect and not. And if I fall, for instance, people my age can fall and break a hip or break a knee or break an elbow or whatever they break. And that's because they don't have enough muscle and bone density, proteins, amino acids, working the body. You can't do one without the other. You can't just eat the protein and not
work out,
work your body with resistance. And I'm not talking about smooth yoga or walk. Every movement is a good movement, but the resistance training, we'll have to do that in another episode.
No, that's just the workout.
It's just the workout.
It's totally what it is. So they definitely go hand in hand. And I think kind of finally on the specific nutritions, if we get to evening time dinners, it's reducing anything refined like white products of starches like white rice or white potatoes or white pastas. And if you have to have those, get few ingredients, go whole brown. Quinoa is going to be a better choice than a pasta if you're trying to feel healthy and lose and maintain weight. So I think we're in a society that in the past has been very meat, starch, veggie. And I think our mentality is, a protein source and a double veggie source.
Yeah. Go heavy on the protein again at night because that's going to satiate you and keep you from popping the amount of popcorn that I do when I'm not satiated. Right. Or keep you, of course, we don't want you to eat the sweets and all that, but as much vegetables as you can put on your plate, right? Or fruits for lots of fruits, but the protein is going to keep you satisfied. And whatever that protein is, as long as you can maybe source it out that it's not full of hormones and,
Yeah, you said that.
Organic.
I think so.
That's your day. I mean, it's really more of a guideline.
Right. And I think one good point that was made in that section in our event or the meeting with Sarah that she said is, and I've always just naturally done this, but I think it's reminding everybody to shop the outside of your grocery store. So inside on all those aisles are all the boxed, all the processed. And so when you go outside on all the whole dairies and good meats and whole foods and produce, then you're setting yourself up for success. And I think it's baby steps and becoming aware and paying attention to how you feel.
I agree. And also knowing that you are not the same. I'm not the same as Lee. You're not the same as other people. Maybe you're sensitive to dairy. Maybe you're sensitive to other things, but find where you can find the sources that make you feel better. And the better you feel, the more you're going to be more apt to choose those ahead of the thing where it says, I'm just going to treat myself to this diet drink or to this thing with sugar in it. And you're going to just feel healthier. And people always say to me, how is it you age and you're still this and that and the other? Or, and I'm glad. This is people go, a lot of people like to lie about your age. I think we should all brag about our age because we're here, we're alive, you
look good and you feel good.
But as you are inside or as you're thinking your life, that's how you present yourself to the world. I still have plenty to do. As a matter of fact, I'm doing that deep dive right now, and I'm going to make Lee start like cooking hearts and thyroids and brains and things soon. We'll go into that another day. That's like nutrition 301.
301. I can't wait to learn more about that. And I think that's important that you've always researched and studied and been up to date and
keep learning.
Make it really more simple, than it is. We are just trying to fuel our bodies, and it can be very complicated out there.
Well, we're just trying to make you guys more powerful.
Yeah.
Owning your own space and being healthy, living life joyously. You can't be joyful and living a good life if you feel bad.
Yeah.
What are your allergies you're experiencing? What are these things that are going on? Autoimmune things. A lot of this can be sourced out with what you're putting in your diet. And you're going to feel better. And I don't think that you're going to get all the information from the medical community every time, unfortunately. So, we're just here to say this is the research that has worked for me so far and for you and for our clients. And that's why we have the smoothie, and we even sell it frozen if you want to buy it there.
Well, and I think another good thing that we heard our friend and client say this morning, we went, oh yeah, she said out to her daughter, I want to start eating healthier. And she was like, well, Mom, just don't buy the junk.
Don't buy the Cheetos.
If you've presented yourself with the choice between Cheetos and carrots, like when you're in a hurry or kind of craving something, you're probably going to grab the Cheetos, but if they're not there, you're not going to eat them.
That's right.
So it is, we spend a lot of money on food. We say how expensive it is, but if you're just buying the things that you consume and eat, then it's worth it.
But I will have to give them my one little hack. The popcorn hack. I mean, I've said it 100 times, but again, I've said a lot of things 100 times. If you just aren't satisfied, at least if you eat your popcorn, which is a source of fiber, and it is corn. I mean, yes, it's been processed a few times, but you're popping your own, then it's popping your own.
On YouTube, she's actually popping.
It's going to be a treat. It's my treat.
There you go.
I can overdo it. We all know we can overdo it.
We are humans and we have our things. Yeah. And so you're
my treat is
you are in a maintenance zone, right? You're not trying to make big changes. You have good habits and you feel good and you're at a healthy weight and all those things. But if you had to make changes, then you would pull back on that. When we do go overboard, we know where to pull back.
Right.
And I think that's knowing it. And we're always going to have fun and enjoy life. And I've got
that's the point.
Changes to make and habits to change and ways to improve. And we're just sharing that. So it's not like we have a magic pill or potion.
But we're looking at it as a source of feeling good, not a source of shaming ourselves.
That's right.
And saying here's why you have to do this. I want you to feel good. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're talking about that today, right?
Exactly. So we just had fun. So again, thanks to Sarah Stevenson, with Sarah. If you do want to get with her for more help or with us, please do.
And ask us questions, about that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid to answer anything, especially when it comes to aging or anything, honestly. But diet is key. But it's the same key as exercise. Movement and diet are everything for your brain, your heart. If your heart's in trouble, your brain's in trouble. Your gut's in trouble, your brain's in trouble. We want to live a long life and know that we're alive. We want to recognize our friends and our family, and we want to be healthy. So that's what we're doing today.
It's a good start.
Yeah, I think it is. So you think that was
fun.
We got to start? I think
that's a good start.
Okay.
Give us your feedback. Come hang out.
Please do. Come
hang out.
Come have dinner
over,
with y'all. As long as you keep putting on those Monday night menus, that's what everybody wants you to open up some sort of a restaurant. And I'm like, no, y'all need to come over here because if you open up a restaurant, I know.
We're not going to do that to you. Yes, you do. You'd go to my restaurant.
I would, but then I'd have to take my robe off or something. You'd have a robe restaurant.
We want to keep the robes on. A robe restaurant. That's amazing. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Love you, baby.
Love you too.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.